So we attacked Iran. I was headed back. I'm just going to make a short one here, but I do want to say something about this because you need to be prepared for what might happen. Headed home from my daughter's dance recital, and we hear that the U.S., has bombed Iran and taken out 3 of their nuclear sites. Apparently, one that was fairly difficult that people had a question, and I waited until I heard what the president had to say before I made this, and he came on to give a very brief statement, and he said that well, we've taken out the hardest ones. Now's the time for peace. If Iran wants to retaliate, if they don't want peace, well, we have other targets already selected, and they're going to be a lot easier, and here we come. Essentially that. I just want to say a few things. First off, this had to be done. They have been swearing that they would attack us as soon as they got the nukes to do it. We knew that they would for 40 years. We're the great Satan. They have acted the way they have because of weakness in American leadership. The American military showed what it can do today. Whiteman Air Force Base B-2s. Whiteman Air Force Base, about 50 miles east of me here. Flew all the way over. And they did a beautiful thing. They ran decoys, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 there you go. And headed back home safely. But this had to happen. And the way that they set this up over the last few weeks with Israel and all that, I think it was just picture perfect. And again, I haven't said much about it because you don't know what's going on in the background. I don't know, you don't know. Everybody claiming that they know doesn't know. These things are more complex than people who aren't involved in them understand. But they did it. And now what I want to warn you about is simply you need to be prepared for retaliatory attacks from Iran. We don't know how they're going to respond. I did see a squib from Iranian a news outlet saying, "Well, Trump, you started it, and now we're going to finish it." The Iranians they're a bunch of bluster. They've always been big talk, and short step walk. But we will see. The danger is this, and somebody just told me, he said, well, because they asked me, do you worry about a retaliation against us? Is this going to put us into a war? And I said, well, yeah, it could. And yes, I think that retaliation is very likely. And I said I think the biggest dangers are a cyber attack against our grid, or the sleeper cells that many of us have been pretty sure have been here since the 80s. Okay, let me take a sip here. This is nothing new. I know some people have come out as if this was something new. It's nothing new. We've known they've been here for a while. And the person that said this, they said, well, I'm not so much worried about grid down as long as we don't get attacked with, Iran couldn't attack us with anything else except they couldn't attack us with anything, to be honest, until they had a nuke. And then are they going to attack 1 or 2 cities? That would be horrible. But really nothing compared to if they were able to take out portions of our grid for extended periods of time. And I don't think that most people understand that. I really don't, even though some other people talk about grid down. It's a popular subject. I'm not going to tell you about my books. If you're new to me, I wrote 7 books on this stuff. You can, if you want to get them down below, either through Amazon or stonemont.us, my website. But I've thought about this a lot. And a nuclear attack wouldn't even compare to the devastation of our grid going down for an extended period of time. So anyway, that's what I want to warn you about. Those of you who have read the Stonemont series, you're probably pretty well prepared. If you haven't, or if you're not prepared, I'd suggest you do what you can right now. Because am I saying it's a probability that it will happen? No. I am saying that it's a possibility that it could happen. And that's what we prepare for. We prepare for possibilities. So we will see what happens now. Again, this had to happen. And all those people who are, have been questioning Trump. I said this a long time ago because he doesn't bluff. He does not bluff. He circumvents. He does all sorts of sleight of hand, but he doesn't bluff. And so many of the people are out there who are critical of him. They don't know anything about the man. They don't know anything about him except The Apprentice. The man has a history. If you know him, this did not surprise you tonight. So that's my take on this. You need to be concerned about a grid down. You need to be concerned about sleeper cells. If you're living in small towns, rural, you probably don't need to worry about that. They're not going to hit small targets, If you live in larger areas, cities, major events, I would not go to major events. And you've heard me say before that I don't stay away from crowds just because something might happen. But this is one of those elevated threat environment situations that I think it probably just went from yellow to red. It went right through orange. And so I would not go to large events here for a little bit until we see what happens. So we will see if it escalates. I hope you're all prepared. If you're not, do what you can, and we'll see what happens, right? Okay. I'll probably be back tomorrow to talk about more of it. Remember, as I always say, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. We want to live well tomorrow, don't we? So we prepare well today. Okay. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.